Hello, this is Black Country Blokes chewing the fat.
Listen.
I've been hearing a lot lately about men don't talk, but in my experience, men do talk, just people aren't listening. So it's going to be me and a group of blokes discussing our struggles and victories through life. Warning, there may be some bad language, so apologies to all the moms, especially my own. Let's get going.
Listen.
Yeah, this is Black Country Blokes chewing the fat with me, Kev Dillon, Aaron Jew, Craig Pinches, and today we've got a very special guest on, a young man that I've known since he was 8 years old, a long time, Andrew Price. Now this young man, he won the ABAs twice, then he went to the Four Nations, won a gold medal the first time and a bronze medal the second time. He's one of the Lions Boxing Club's most decorated boxers, so I'm very privileged and honoured to have him on my show. So Andrew, tell us about your boxing. I mean, when he first started at Pensnet School and the Lions first started, he was 8 years old, and we had to kick him out for swearing 100 years ago.
Well, that was just having a bad temper, I think.
Well, it's just being a baby, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then you come back to us at 11 years old, you and your brother James and Andrew come back with you, didn't they? And
when Nathan come back.
Did Nathan come back when you first started?
Yeah, when we first started.
You come back with Nathan, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that was the Pensnet School. We opened up here in 2000, some years ago, bruv.
Yeah.
So tell us about your journey with the boxing first.
Do you know, the boxing was it was a good time of life, to be honest. I met a lot of good people. Your dad's a nice man, John, your mum, and not only that, a lot of people who I met through it, good people, genuine people.
Lifelong friends, aren't they?
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%. Even now, I still stay in touch. Over a lot of the Lions.
It's funny, I mean, some of the people have lost along the way, like Passy and Hickey and Rolsey. But even like when Rob Rolls was poorly, it was you that found him, wasn't it, in the hospital?
Well, I think a lot of people helped him.
Oh, you found him and then you told other people?
Yeah, I just, at his last couple of days, I think, I found him. I was in there with a family member, and I just had like this feeling, this gut feeling, that something wasn't right. And when I looked into it more, spoke to the nurse, I said the guy that's in here, because she said he was playing up, because obviously he was a bit like,
he was a bugger, wasn't he? In the 20
well,
stone
he had brain tumours, and it sent him a bit doolally. And I said to the nurse, she couldn't tell me his name, and I said, nurse, do you mind if I say something to you? I said, is that Rob Rolls in there? And she said, yeah, it is. I'm not supposed to tell you, but it is. And from then I had to just go and help, because I'm going to help him out. And I did my best for him.
Well, you phoned up, and then Ricky Sums got involved.
Yeah, I got involved, and everyone knows.
But it was the Lions family, our family, come together.
Well, that's what we are at the Lions. We're a family. That's what it's about.
So, do you remember your first couple of bouts?
Oh yeah, I remember my first couple of bouts. Yeah, I lost my first one. I remember when I lost my first fight. And I think just give me the determination to get back into it. Yeah.
So how old were you when you first...
I was 12 when I had my first fight.
And then you won the ABAs when you were 14?
The juniors when I was about 13 or 14, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Won the juniors then.
And that's what I'd say to these lads, to say like, I couldn't remember if it was you or your brother, because your brother James won the ABAs as well, didn't he? I said, one of you lost your first couple.
That was me, yeah.
But that's all right. That's part of the journey. You learn from that and you think, that ain't going to happen again.
Yeah.
And you go out, and then I think it was the next season you went and won it. The juniors, then went to the Four Nations, which it was back then, gold medal. Next year, ABAs again. So it's your first couple of bouts don't matter, it's the learning curve.
Yeah.
And as I say, like through boxing, you went on and you accomplished just wonderful things that most people only dream of.
Yeah.
Winning the bouts, brilliant. The Midlands is brilliant. To then go and win England and then be the greatest boxer in Great Britain is phenomenal, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's an achievement. It's a good achievement.
And then what age were you when you packed in boxing?
Well, I think about 16, I think I reached a stage in life. I think it's from the community I come from.
Yeah.
Where it was either make a decision to box for a living or make a decision to work for a living. One of my most it was my biggest regret. When you look back, I remember your dad saying, you know, you look back and you regret it, which I do, but in a way I don't, because I've got other focuses in life. Do you know what I mean? So.
You think as a child it's different how you look back on as a man, isn't it? You often think, if I can have these couple of years living on beans on toast, I can live the rest of my life as a millionaire. But at that time, making £100 a day, thinking, bloody hell, I've made it. Yeah. But that's hindsight, and we all look back with that. But I imagine in the travelling community, it is different as well, isn't it? Because everyone's like, you had like you and your brother. Is he a year older than you, Jay?
James is 11 months older than me. Yeah.
And he, you know, he had like his own business by the age of 11, didn't he?
Well, it's just what we was born into. You know, we've been born into a working family, and we've always worked for ourselves.
No, because you lost your mum so young.
I was 4 when I lost my mum, so it was a bit of a shock in the family.
Of course. How did she pass?
She passed. She had brain tumours. So that's why I think another thing when it relates to Rob. You know, I felt the pain again. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I know he's a family member, and it was just that news of when he got diagnosed with it. Yeah, it was like love just radiated through me, just to try and reach out to him the best way I could. Do
you remember that when he got diagnosed? He was 21, wasn't he? They gave him 6 months to live, and he ended up living another 10 years. Yeah. Lived 10 years, and I remember when he got diagnosed, he said, "I'm going to start travelling now. I'm going to live." And I went, "Well, you can't fly. I won't get insured." And he went, "Well, Kev, I can drop down dead. It was probably ill. Or I can go and see Thailand and America," and that's how he lived his life then. He just lived guilt-free and without consequences. But if I want to do it, now's the time. And we could all learn a lot from that.
What a guy.
What a great guy.
That's how you should live, isn't it? You know, like, that's how you should live. If he took either what the doctor said, I mean, you've never wanted a doctor to be wrong in your life, have you, until they give you that kind of news. You know, and he lasted, another 10 years?
Another 10 years, bless him.
And don't get me wrong, it was a battle for him. That 10 years was a battle.
Okay.
You know,
I never knew. I think I know someone that knew him who used to work up in Emporium. I think his name was Luke, and I remember him saying his best. Did he used to go to the races?
I can't remember. He's into everything more.
He went everywhere.
Because I know his friend passed away, and he was his good friend, and I believe he boxed, so he might be the same guy.
Well, when he passed away, we raised money, and we've got him his memorial on the outside of the door. As you walk in the doors here, there's a big plaque of Rob, because that was his gravestone. That's where he met all his family, Quinton and Ricky and us boys, lifetime friends who were cleaning his bits and wiping draw when he was passing. We were there because that's what family should do. Yeah. If you need someone, that is when your family comes. A family member isn't just there when you're winning the ABAs. Your family's there when you've come off your motorbike, and he's visiting you every day, because that's what love is. It's not, I love you when you're at the top. It's, I'm still there for you when you're down on your bum.
It's mad how a boxing gym you expected to be barbaric and punching shit out of each other. Yet you create such a brotherly bond.
There's love. You know, I remember when I was at my peak in boxing, and there's a lot of other guys who was here as well. Well, kids at the time when we kept, you know, they was at the peak as well. And there was like, you got Carl Spencer, you had Ricky Whitehouse, you had my brother James, you had
Luke
Richards,
Whitbread,
Dave Whitbread. You know, you had Gary Tomlinson. You
know,
all there was all boxing at a good level. Yeah. But when we sparred, when we started to get better, more love started to come through it.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't hurt each other as much. Yeah.
But it was ferocious, wasn't it?
It was still ferocious. It was before we won really anything.
Yeah.
You know, but when we started to win things,
Johnny Bray.
When we started to win things and get higher, there was a love that came with it. It was like, you know, I know how good you are, Andrew, or I know how good you are, Kyle, or I know how good you are, James. We need respect. And I remember Bob or John would say, "Stop punching each other." You know, because there was that much respect for each other.
You don't want to jab each other.
No, it's I think that's with lots of gyms, isn't it?
But that's not just us. I mean, we were lucky at the time, and luckily we've got it back now with Osama and Tom Jones and Rigo Southpaw and Matthew. And you don't get as good sparring on an England camp than you did in your own club. And it was like that because all of you were Midlands National Championships. You were the best lads in the country, and you're all in one club. Yeah. And that was brilliant, because you say, you'd have a real good spot, but if one was up, you'd go, "You're right, bruv." You know what I mean? It wasn't trying to finish, because you're brothers, and 20 years on, you're still brothers now.
Yeah.
And that's what people see boxing as barbaric, but they don't see the love with people who haven't got the family, and they see the coach as the dad and Auntie Julie who'll do anything, and your brothers. And that's what I think. If the country was more like a boxing club, you'd have a much better world.
Mate, I've not seen your dad. I mean, when you first started down Penzance Squad, and you were a bit younger than me. Yeah, it was in the gym, and I remember going to that on the dinner time or after school, maybe on a Wednesday, and I started going to that, and you know what, I could not see Bob for, because I was in and out of it, you know what I mean, I'd come down and train, then I wouldn't, then I wouldn't, and I'd not seen Bob for years, but you know, when you see him again, it's like yesterday you seen him, you know what I mean, he's always got, he's a lovely bloke, your old man, you know, I learn a lot from him, he don't mince his words. No. Don't mince his words, which you can respect.
It always makes me laugh, because Dad's one of them. He'll come in and give you a royal bollocking, and you'll still love him for it, won't you? Was it you who said, no other man on the planet could talk to me like your dad does?
Only love for him.
Yeah.
That's the respect again, though, isn't it?
You know, there again, you know, achievements. He's put something together that's going to last forever.
Yeah.
You know?
And we will get him in on over the shows to talk about growing up with a visually impaired, having a visually impaired son when he was still a young man, and then going into his journey with GB. But Andrew, digressing from the boxing, so you finished at like 16, 17. What did you find yourself doing then?
Just working and providing and enjoying life.
Yeah.
Met a lot of good friends along the way.
But it hasn't all been fun and games, has it, over the last couple of years?
The last 5 years, I developed an anxiety disorder. So I suffer really bad with anxiety. That's what the doctors put it down to. It's just been chaotic.
And you can't understand unless you've been through it, can you, these anxiety attacks? Because there's the fear of going into the boxing gym where you're thinking, I've got to stand up in front of 200 people. That's nerves, isn't it? Yeah. And them nerves will make you perform. But anxiety is crippling, isn't it?
You know, you can feel the pain in your body.
Yeah.
You just feel withered. You know, you try and talk yourself around and it's crippling. It's crippling. There's been like times in my life where I've sat on a bed and tried to I've curled into a ball and just, you know, I've prayed as well. I've just prayed for God to take it away, because there's no reason, like people say to me, Andrew, what's up with you? You got everything going for you. You got a lovely life, you got a lovely family, you know. What are you doing? I'm like, I have no idea.
Do you find that odd being in like the travelling community as well?
You know, in the community that I'm from, they're tough beings. You know, they're programmed to be tough from a young age, which it's good in one way, but in another way, you need to understand that we're all human beings, and there's not many humanitarians amongst us.
And I think the reason I ask that question is because obviously my sister's husband, you know, James, and like if I was to hear him talk about certain people of the non-travelling community, he'd just say, "Oh, he's stupid or he's silly," and this, and I thought, like, he's never been through it, and I thought, is that the travelling thing where not so much a lack of understanding, but like you say, just that tough love, you know what I mean, and not understanding.
It works for some people, but for me, it just don't.
No.
Tough love, it just doesn't work for me at all. You know, when I speak to people, I try and give them love in my vocal. Do you know what I mean? And that's how people should talk to each other. Speak to people with respect, and you'll get respect back.
I think because you've been through pain though in your life,
you understand
when you see it. You can see it in people's eyes sometimes.
It's the understanding of it.
So you're saying anxiety there, so Kevin knows my story. I suffer with anxiety and I don't understand it. Sometimes I'm like, why is this happening to me? Because then I only recently found out it's a form of mental health. And when you have that stigma of mental health, you start thinking, I'm talking like 5 years ago, am I crazy? There's something wrong with me. And my mom's got mental health, and I was like, I'm just following her footsteps. So then you have that anxiety on top of the anxiety that you're already trying to control.
And when you go somewhere, you're thinking, I hope someone understands me.
Absolutely.
It's like you go into a crowd of people, as soon as you start talking about like your mental health problems, it's like a breath of fresh air. You're like, oh, he knows what I'm going through. And you feel like grabbing them and saying, stay by me all night.
Absolutely. But do you think though, if you maybe express that, say within your community, maybe like in a slower way or in a more like cautious way, because obviously you can't just go out there and say, hey guys, I'm anxious for it, you know, you might get like the wrong response. Do you think more people would maybe maybe call you to the side and maybe have a conversation with you, because I find it very difficult to believe that we're all so tough, because even like within a Sikh community, so I come from a Sikh community, the whole ethos behind being a Sikh is your warrior mentality. So the religion's based on like warrior tactics and stuff. So everyone's got like a bravado, like, you know, we'll have a fight, we'll do X,
But
Y, and Z.
they're warriors.
Yeah.
That's a difference.
Yeah.
You know, you come from a family of warriors. I come from a family of warriors. Kev comes from a family of warriors. Everyone, but everyone comes from a family of warriors. Because no matter how far you go back, it's survival.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? But the thing is with the Black Country at the minute, it's getting so tough to survive that we're seeing more argumentative relationships, worry, stress, anxiety, depression, suicide.
Yeah, suicide's horrible. It's massive.
We're seeing it in Black Country, you know?
But I think more we can talk about it, because I'm very blessed. I've known many travellers up here, and I'm very open with my own flaws and anxieties. And when I was trying to mention it to them, they're going, I haven't been able to say this before, however, I just go down the bottom of the garden and have a cry. And I think more we can talk, so it's not just, I'm having a bad day, man up son. And that them bollocks throwaway comments, mate, and there's only so many times I can knock on the door and say I need help. If no one answers, eventually I think, fuck it, I'll do it on my own. And they would normally do it on our own, is by the bottom of a bottle, bottom of a bag, or doing something horrendous, like ending it. And when sometimes that could have been avoided by just going, let's have a chat, Craig. How is your nan? How
that's
is
where
your daughter?
addiction comes from.
Addiction,
alcoholism, every problem, it manifests from something that you've experienced. And I'm a big believer in that. To get my word across and say, if you do suffer, go and seek help. You know, don't be proud, because I spent 3 years of my life, 3.5 years of my life, blanking it out, and then running around the world trying to figure it out myself, that there was a problem everywhere else, but really the problem was in me.
Should have been like me with that policy. Like when I used to get in a dark place, I'd go to see my brother in Thailand thinking I'll escape from my problems, but the problems wherever I went, you know what I mean?
When you come back, they're there again.
They're still there. But I'd sit there thinking, oh yeah, I'm all right now, but then I'd still hit the bottle, I'd still do this, I'd still do that, because I wasn't getting away from the problem, because the problem was still with me. I was changing locations, but the problem would go wherever I went. It was in my suitcase. And I think as soon as you can, go and see someone like Nick Davis, or go and see someone and get to the bottom of the problems. They're learning how to switch that switch down. Why am I getting angry? It's because of this. Why am I drinking? It's because of this. Why am I doing drugs? It's because
you know all the right answers, but you can't put them into practice.
That's
the anxiety.
That's the anxiety.
You know you shouldn't be doing something, but you can't
escape the cycle.
But then you get anxious about that.
The
fact that you're not doing what you should be doing as well.
I suppose paranoia creeps in then as well.
That's a bastard.
That you think, and they see me having a breakdown, and then you're anxious about, you know what I mean, people's perceptions on, can they see me having this breakdown? When on the surface you're probably alright. You're looking at them, you're just Andrew, or you're just Aaron, or you're just Kev. You know what I mean? Where deep down you think,
at the end of the day, we're all human beings.
Precisely.
You know, we're not these big tough men that everyone think.
And even the massive Lennox Lewises of the world, Frank Bruno, Tyson Fury,
Nigel
Benn. And I think it's so wonderful now that these role models, these big tough guys, are going, I've been through that. And but by the grace of God, they must have had someone around them who loved them dearly, to give them the strength to allow them to talk to that person first. Because no one ever just starts a podcast and goes, by the way, I'm anxious. That's bollocks. You know, you need that first person to talk to, and then it builds confidence and courage, and then hopefully by the grace of God you get through it.
I think sometimes you're open as well. You can be open. I mean, we're open here, but we're like-minded individuals with good hearts, you know what I mean? But sometimes you can be open and it just water off a duck's back. So it's, you know, it depends on who you're speaking to, because some, like you said before, some people will just laugh it off, or they'll just, oh, you'll be all right tomorrow, or, oh, we all have them days, you know what I mean? And you think,
you need to go to a safe person, somebody that you can trust, who's not going to judge you, because that's the most important thing. And I think if you have that friend or a family member or someone like that, I think that will massively help. That's what I find.
Being judged is not a problem for many people, but I think being condemned for the problem you're going through, or for the problem you experienced. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, elaborate on that for us, because that's a great point.
Well, being condemned on a situation, like, we live in a world where there's so much temptation, so much wrong, that it's hard to escape from. You know, and it's been going on for many years, you know. But if you've got an addiction, if you're from a family who are anti-drugs and anti-everything, you know, some people develop a problem, like smoking weed, drinking alcohol, doing laughing gas, doing normal gas, doing crack, heroin, whatever the problem might be. Talking from my perspective, I couldn't go to my family and tell them that.
Yeah.
So basically, a lot of people hide it.
Yeah.
And then it's not regulated.
It's not regulated, so no one knows about it. But they just think, oh, this person, he's all right, he's just going off doing his own thing. But really, he's got a problem. You know, there's not enough families out there who can detect a problem if they haven't been through it their own selves.
It's hard to see a problem if you're not aware of the problem, isn't it? But I've said this for years, if we legalise drugs, we've lost the war on drugs. But if we legalised it in a chemist, and he said, I want to have a smoke tonight, but I'm a bit paranoid. Don't have skunk, have resin. And if I want to have drugs that's regulated, I'm on heroin, have this safe bag, here's your prescription, and then they give it to you, so it's safe. They give you the needles, you have to take them back. If we manage drugs better and educated people on the drugs, we'd have less problems. And then the money that was brought back in, put it into mental health. Because when my friends have been to bushy fields and I've seen how they've been treated, it's frightening. Yeah.
You know,
it's not as caring as we'd like to believe. There isn't that. I thought when they went in, they'd constantly be a nurse there saying, are you okay, Kev? I'm having an episode. Let's practice the breathing. It's just, go to your room, have some tablets. Yeah. You'll see the doctor in 3 weeks.
It's not the answer.
I'll exchange these drugs for these drugs. Whereas I think if we had a better system of monitoring the drugs that people are doing anyway, same with prostitution. Girls have been doing it since the dawn of man. But if we could have somewhere where the girls had a bouncer, cameras, everything, they were checked all the time to make the punter safe, the girl safe. It just makes sense. These things are going to happen anyway, so let's make it safe for the people. And I think if drugs were legalised, I'm not saying I'm going to Morrison's, I'm going to buy some Fairy Liquid biscuits. I go, oh, heroin's on special, I'll get a bag.
But
that ain't going to happen.
Talking about that topic, if they legalise it and do it that way, prostitution. Because prostitution's a big thing these days, isn't it?
It is.
You know, and a lot of people do it. But then you got the thing of, it's not discreet anymore. Do you know what I mean?
You'd have it in areas. You'd have it like in Amsterdam. You have that district that does it. Make it safe for the girls, the punters. Because at the moment, it's a lot in areas around here, and it's just in flats where blokes are knocking on doors.
No, I can see where you're coming from.
Make it safe.
You know the only thing with that is, okay, sorry, is like with the drugs not legalised, the only thing with that is governments would legalise it and then crime rates would rise because the price would skyrocket because of taxation. They wouldn't. But
it's not the drug takers. It's not the low-level drug dealers. The criminals are the gangsters. It's the importers. It's the mules. It's the high-end drug dealers. It's not someone having a bag of Charlie or a rat because he's a drug addict or he's got his own problems. So you get caught with a couple of bags of whatever, and he does 5 years in pen. His life's changed then. Whereas really, he's either making a couple of quid or he's got a habit. So why, like as Andrew was saying, why condemn him for something that he's into? He's not a gun man. He's not shooting people up over this. If you legalise drugs, you wouldn't have the gang culture. You'd just have a black market like you have with fags. But it wouldn't be taking out neighbourhoods and, you know what I mean? Make it safer. Then if the heroin was on prescription, you wouldn't have to go and rob your next door neighbour for a wedding ring because you're getting it anyway.
That's the thing, crime comes with with that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, addiction, it comes with crime. People get on heroin and crack and whatever, and they ain't bothered who they rob to get it, really, are they?
But if they had a system of getting it, because they're still going to do it, But if we can make it safe for them to get the proper stuff, safer for the neighbours, so they haven't got to feel like they're going to get robbed. And then when they're on it, every time they come in, a lot of people would say no at first, but every time they come in and go, you do know you can go and see Andrew Price at the Lions Boxing Club if you ever do want to come off it.
Would that possibly, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, you know what I mean, I do often, but would that possibly lead to more people experimenting with it because it's legal and
people are experimenting? Everyone is doing something now.
If you don't mind me just saying something, I do roofing for a living, and I went out to quote a job down in Warleaf, actually, where your area, Kev.
Yeah.
And there was 3 young boys. There was I'd say about 12 to 14-year-olds, and me being a dad myself, got children growing up, I overheard the conversation, and they was walking into this house, and they was talking about getting nigh of things you can buy from Asda. You know, there was googling it. What can you get off? What can you get high off? You know, products from Asda or like basically they were saying, what can I get to get off? But that's where it starts, isn't it? You know, they start
harmless fun.
They start sniffing paracetamol, or they start sniffing whatever they can, or doing gas and
glue and gas.
Glue. It starts from that age. Now, a lot of children escape it because they've got good families around them. But then you got the least fortunate people who are sucking into it, and their life is just
probably one out of every 5 kids. If you was to look at who you know
doing
growing
drugs.
up, it's probably 1 out of every 5.
And when you see these 40, 50-year-old men walking up and down who have got a drug addiction, you know, whatever it might be, crack, cocaine, heroin's mostly because they're at the end of the line. You know, they've tried everything else. It's heroin that they're hooked on.
I gave a guy a lift once. He used to come round my mum and dad to try and sell everything from tools to cheese, you know what I mean? Like, his dad used to bring him round, his dad was in a mobility car, and his dad had no legs, and this and that. And he used to come. And you see him now, I seen him up the hospital a few weeks back, but I seen him outside on bargains. He's got no legs, and he's in a wheelchair. And when I gave him a lift up to Dudley,
He'd be fucked if he were in the chair.
No, he would be. He would be. But like when I gave him a lift, he's my day. When I gave him a lift, like I said to him, like, you know, what's your story? Because I do ask people, and he says, just got with the wrong crowd, and try this and try that. He says, and I tried it. He says, no.
Before you know it,
been hooked ever since, and now he's got no limbs because he's addicted to fucking heroin, and he's still doing it. Which, to be fair, there's no point in him not.
But a lot of the people I've known, a lot of my good friends who've had terrible drug addictions, and because they haven't got the circle of friends, or they haven't got the family, or they haven't
been surrounded by the right people.
Haven't been surrounded by the right people, or they've made a mistake, but they haven't had the education around it. And I think more education we have about the things, once again, a chemist. So you're not just phoning up someone going, I'll meet you in the back of Morrison's, and you don't know what you're having, zooting up your nose or putting in your syringe or smoking it. If you had someone where you go in, you'd find out, and then that person could tell you. Like with steroids, you can go and buy it from Jeff behind the counter. But if you had someone going, this is really going to mess up your testosterone in later life, and education, you can't take the dealer's word, because he's just trying to sell you a product. But if you have someone there going, this is this, by the way, you might have this side effects. If you've got paranoia, don't do this. There are other things. Just because alcohol is legal doesn't mean you drink absinthe every day. Sometimes you just want a can of lager. Which is a depressant. Is it a depressant? You know, a lot of the worst thing to drink is when you were depressive is alcohol, usually. I've found anyway. Because you might forget your worries while you're on the way out, and you're coming back home. In the morning. It's still there, isn't it? It's still there, and it's worse because you've got an headache and you've got less money in your pocket and you've got puke down you, and you stink of kebab or something. You know? I mean, it's alright to party. Like you said, everything in moderation, even drugs, I suppose, absolutely everything in moderation, you know, because nothing's too bad for you if you moderate it. Even your bad days are good for you, as long as you can control them and you can moderate them, because that shows you that... Abusive. Exactly. If you start to torment yourself and you're addicted to them bad days, not so much addicted, but you feel yourself visiting like a fiend and you're visiting, then them bad for you. But the odd bad days, okay, because that lets you appreciate
the good days and lets you think, fuck me, I had a bad day yesterday.
No
Today I'm
one,
full of life.
no real person, no genuine person only has good days. No. If they tell you that they're trying to sell you something. Every one of us on God's green earth has bad days. No matter who you're shagging, how much you're earning, whatever job you do, some days you go, and that's natural. It's when the bad days outweigh the good days. And that's when you've got to change something. I always say, enjoy the good days and deal with the bad. That sounds very nice saying, but sometimes them hard days are fucking hard to get through. Yeah. So what's some of your coping mechanisms, bruv? I know sometimes you pop up here when you're feeling a bit shitty.
Yeah, when I come up here to see the boys and training young lads and stuff. Playing guitar, music's my escape. Yeah, music's my escape from the anxiety.
And have you found that's helped you?
Yeah, it does help.
Yeah. You're getting back into it now, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I've been I eased off a little bit, to be honest with you. But it's just one of the things I want to adapt to my life.
Do you write your own songs?
I do write my own songs, yeah.
If you don't mind at the end, if you wouldn't mind for us.
I'll perform for you later on.
Brilliant. But because a lot of people don't. What did you go on? What show did you go on?
Oh, when I was about 21, I went on to the X Factor.
Yeah, and you got through.
Yeah, no, I was the it was the auditions that I went to, the open auditions up down in Cardiff, and I got through there's 3 rounds before the.
Did you get the boot camp? Was it?
No. There's 3 rounds before you even audition for the live.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, for the live shows, and I got through, just never got the call back. You know, so probably that wasn't the right time.
Do you know what though? That's what makes you going on to them TV shows. That's what makes you think of, you know, when they're absolutely fucking shockingly bad, and you think there's a lot of auditions before you get to the auditions. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all
entertainment though, isn't it? You've got to have something bad.
I mean, I've heard Andrew, you sent me some stuff not long back, and I like folky music into it. And
yeah, I like it's a form of indie music,
Yeah, it's really good.
What kind of musicians do you like?
Oh, I like a few. James Bay, James Arthur, David Gray.
Yeah.
You know, I like them sort of eras. I like meaningful songs. Songs that tell a story.
Good album actually, James Arthur's new one.
Yeah.
I've been listening to it.
I went to see him down in the O2 Academy in Birmingham a couple of weeks ago. I really enjoyed it.
James Arthur. Do you know what? I didn't buy into him. Initially I thought, why did he do it? He won it, and I thought, I'm not big on them TV shows anyway. I thought, what? But you know, when he released one called Kryptonite, produced by Rhymesy, and he did his last hit, Say You Won't Let Go. And I started to like him, and he's just come out now.
To be honest with you, I knew he was going to be great when I first seen him.
I couldn't buy into him, man.
You know, when you just see someone, you thought, he's singing, he's not just singing. He's
emotion,
he's transforming his hurt into a song. Yeah. And that's what makes great artists, isn't it?
He's very expressive. You can hear his emotion in with his lyrics, you know, in with his vocals, and you know, I like him. I do like him, if I'm honest. So initially.
Isn't it funny how some brilliant people can do that? They have such horrible things, and they can turn into such beautiful things. And I think if we can do that, be it a boxing club, or picking up a guitar, or your MC, and what you're doing in a property, and find your voice, we've got to use the cards that we're dealt. You know what I mean? We can either walk away from the table, or we can play the best possible hand we can.
If we play with the cards that we have as well, we're at an advantage as well.
Yeah,
because our truth, isn't it? It's easy.
That's our truth. Yeah, because
we can speak about anxiety all day, and we can connect to so many more people rather than somebody reading a book. Oh, is this what anxiety is? And then try and teach people.
No, you can't.
Like,
no, you're going through.
You can explain that quickly and feeling when you're there.
You know, believe it or not, I remember being a believer myself. You know, I pray a lot. I'm not ashamed to say I pray a lot. I know it's the world that we live in today. There's too many religions, a lot of politics around it, which I don't want to get involved in. And like, what I'm trying to talk about now is it all relates to the same thing, really. Like what you just said, anxiety. When it first came over me, I was asking, like, God, what is this that I'm going through? And how long am I going to go through it? But it's only like when you start living your life and doing what you're supposed to be doing that you understand why the anxiety is It was creeping up on you. So basically, like you just said, talking about it, hosting a group of guys together just to talk about the truth and what's really going on. It helps people who are looking on the outside because they're like, oh well, I'm not the only one who's going through it, because I can see the proof of it. There's 4 guys here in a boxing gym who all come from strong families, and they're talking about a weakness that's inside of them. It's anxiety. It's coming from fear. It's from the system that we live in. There's so much fear and anxiety and negative speech. People don't speak life into when they talk. They're speaking about negative nonsense. They're talking about drama. They're talking about things they see on EastEnders. You know, that's not a community.
It's the media, it's the news, everything.
A community needs to be based on truth. What's really going on?
But on the flip side, it's either negative, or it's I'm doing wonderful. It's very fake. There's not that real talking of. I don't care if you've got an Armani watch or I like the truth and I like the honesty. I don't begrudge you for doing well. I'm proud of you for doing well. But I also appreciate when you have the goodness in you to come on and say, yeah, you know me as Andrew Price, ABA champion, but I'm going through it. I've been through it. So you are not alone. No matter what you're going through, there are a million people out there who are going through the same thing. So please, don't suffer on your own.
Like Andrew said, it's about that community and being real. You know, like you said, you talk about this and you talk about that, you're either perfect or it's bullshit. You know, a lot of the things at the moment, like, you know, we won't get into too much, is like the non-binary, the transgender, or, you know, or it's racism, or it's this, that and the other. And a lot of the time, it's pockets of people arguing with the majority over something that they don't really understand, ignoring their personal issues, their anxieties, their depressions, and their things they're suffering with, and them getting a bit bitey about something that don't even concern them, and it's sort of distracting everyone from the truth that people are going through.
Instead of just caring, I don't really give a kipper's dick what you look like, who you're shagging, what you're doing. If you're a good person, I will accept you. I don't care what you're putting it in. As long as you're putting it in me, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Okay, where's the full in that, mate?
But as long as people are caring human beings, that's all we need to be.
But that's why people these days are frightened to go to these places where, because there's so much stuff on the internet about finding God and searching what God you want to find out about him. You know, when they go to a church and there's people who don't understand what people are going through, it tends to become a condemning society around people who really need help. Do you know what I mean?
You sort of get ostracised from these little communities before you've even been a part of it, just because they don't understand you. And to be fair, it's bloody hell, that's an headache we don't need. We don't understand it. We don't want to understand it. We don't want to learn it. Fuck them off out. Like, leave them out, basically.
Well, I remember Ashley Nixon first come back up here, and he was saying when he was in prison, he found God, and he looked at me like I was going to take the mickey out of him. I said, Ashley, never be ashamed of finding faith. We all need faith, whether it's in God, in a book, even if it's just having faith in yourself. We all need faith, and never be ashamed of believing it. If Father Christmas makes you a better person, then believe in him and grab with both hands. Because if that faith makes you better, then you've found something wonderful.
It's about self-belief.
Self-belief.
You know, and like a lot of religions out there now, you talk about the Quran, the Torah, the Bible, and they talk about what's the Sikh book called?
The Guru Granth Sahib.
Okay.
I think I said that right.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I'm not a religious person.
No,
Yeah.
right? Because there's too many politics around it.
Absolutely.
Politics spoil everything.
Yeah.
Now, the main focus, the reason I found Jesus inspirational, because he was one of the people who was like a bit of a rebel. He was like, you know what? You're teaching all these politicians and everything else. The people are suffering. You know, basically, he was a good Samaritan. You know, he was a good person, and that's why he's known 2,000 years down the line.
He went against, according to the book, and that he went against everything to do the right thing, and everyone's nature.
Because he knows what society that he lives in.
You know, with me, like I've never been a religious guy. I've been a curious guy, and at times I felt like I've wanted to find a faith or belong to one. And I've always said, I envy people that have a faith, because you know when times are hard for me and my kids pull me out of it and whatever else, and you're just looking for someone. I envy people that have a faith and truly believe in it, because at least you've got that. You know, I feel like you're on your own. Like me, if my kids pull me out of it, no one can, and I don't speak to God or anything because I've never been brought up with a faith. And I always said I envy people with a faith, because at least they've got something that comforts them.
You know, if you don't mind me just saying as well, when you rely on yourself like that, that's because you're a tough person. And that's nothing to be ashamed about, because that's you going inside of yourself. So what you do inside of you, and you're like, how do I get out of this? Do I sit here and suffer in silence and just become no one, sitting in the corner who people just walk past and throw a couple of quid in the jar to, or do I stand up and speak? And just by you speaking now, you're doing something about it.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? You're helping people overcome what they're going through. You know, you need self praise for that, because that's tough.
So you don't ever see it until someone says it in you know, from that perspective. You don't ever see it. You just say, I suffer alone and I'll go through the shit. You know what I mean? Brock come out.
That's just you going inside yourself thinking, what do I really want to achieve in this life? That's all that it is, and that's what Jesus did. Exactly the same. I won't talk too much about Jesus because I don't want to talk about religion or because it's too deep. But it's
I think the principles that you're saying in terms of how he lived, how he treated people.
Every great person suffered with some sort of anxiety. You know, in every book that you read, it's there. It's there in black and white.
And especially artists, whether it's music or painters or actors, especially artists. You know,
it's their pain that makes them.
It's a tortured soul, and I read before that some of the most beautiful, honest art comes from a place of dark discomfort, and it does. You know what I mean? Like you say, James Arthur, he's been through the mill in life. You know what I mean? He's had, as you call it, many crosses to bear, and you hear that in his music, and that's what makes him. But you know, given his successes and that, would he give all that up to have not created that beautiful art due to the discomfort? You know what I mean? He's crazy, but like you say, that's what we're all here for, isn't it? Is to
talking about the truth,
lean on each other in an honest way. We said earlier, when you put in the group about it's not just a Tuesday thing now, and it's not, because this place is boxing views, but we've all got good hearts, and that's the thing. And it's nice to be around people. I could phone Kev or Aaron or whatever and say, I'm having a shit day, and I know they're going to think, fucking hell, here we go again. What's the matter, mate? You know what I mean?
And the crazy thing is, 6 months ago we could have walked past each other and not do anything.
Exactly.
Probably wouldn't have spoken to each other. Could have been sitting in a restaurant and think, I ain't going to talk to him. And vice versa. Yeah. Here we are, we've had a couple of conversations, it's been about 3 or 4 months now, and now it's like any problems, like when we heard about Lee.
Well, thanks for telling me I've left out for that long.
I'm
excited now,
But look at this diverse group that we've got here today. We've got a lad Sikh, we've got a traveller, we've got a lad covering tattoos, you know, got a really handsome bloke with very small ears.
Full of self-praise, as you can see.
Self-praise is no praise, I was thought.
In the real world, as you say, people who think, I'm not going to talk to that brown lad, I'm not going to talk to that travelling boy, I'm not going to... And once you take away all the bollocks,
strip it all down,
and you go, he's a lovely person, he's good for a laugh, he's going down, but we don't do that in the real world. I always say about the Bible, the Good Samaritan, he'd be fucking hung nowadays. What, you're cold off my coat, what you after, you pervert? You're hungry, why
you're
is
frightened to be
that
humane to people.
You know the crazy thing is, you mentioning that is, we was in Turkey in May, we was over there for 3 weeks, and there was a group of scouts, there's a family group, and some young lads, and they speak to me for quite a few days, and they got speaking to someone we was with, and then they got speaking, and what he said to her was, fucking hell, he says, I thought he was going to be a right prick and a troublemaker and that with his tattoos, he said, and he's one of the nicest blokes I've ever spoke to. And so he said, that's the problem with preconceptions, you know what I mean, the misconceptions. You judge me based on colour of skin or tattoos or communities and that, and it's just never further from the truth. Because usually you took it back because you know, it's never how you plan it in you, it's never how you think.
I fought that battle all my life, been accepted.
You would be from a travelling community as well, wouldn't
like,
it?
you'd say, people would say gypsies. You say gypsy to people like, oh, gypsies, you know, what, you know, we're not like that.
Well, I said that the travelling community have as much, if not more, racism than most people, especially...
You know, you can be any race in the world. You can be black, Pakistani, You could be
Whoever.
Indian. You could be anything. You could be an alien from planet Mars. As soon as you say gypsy, they all run. They're like, "Ooh, I don't know gypsies."
Yeah.
And that's what I've had to fight all my life. But growing up around a non-gypsy community, I've really found that hard. But finding the boxing, I found a great family.
This is a mutual ground here, isn't it?
It was accepted, and that was the most important thing.
You leave your backgrounds at the door, don't you, and your pride and your ego. And there's a common ground here, and that's the beautiful
well, even
place.
just behind there, we can't see it on camera now, Kev, you know, like with the clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're just talking just before this now, like, just for a community, there's clothes, charity, there's like toys and everything I can see there. And that's just a very small community getting together and donating to charity, which is beautiful. And I'm like, if every single person did that, even like once a week, once a month or something, the world would be in such
and that's
a better
one
place.
small community within Brierley Hill.
Well, that's not just the Lions, that's clubs all around the country, all around the world who will get people, it doesn't matter how wealthy you are or whatever, or where, if you're a bugger, as long as you're polite and you come in and you obey the rules, you can be part of the team. And that's not just us, as I say, there's many great clubs.
Of course.
You'd never want to strip the character from someone, would you? Like the tongue-in-cheek or the Jack the Lad character.
You want the buggers.
You want the cheekiness and whatever else.
Because everyone's organic in their own way, aren't they?
Yeah.
Exactly. If you try and strip that back, then everyone's manufactured. So you don't want to completely strip it back. You've just got to know when to dial it in and act accordingly, you know. And I think I'm a cheeky bugger, you know. I can be, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I speak out of turn, and often I speak too much.
Maybe you just speak honestly.
Yeah.
People don't like the truth.
No, they don't like the truth. I mean, sometimes I do think of fucking hell, Craig. You know,
You're saying you're right. You're right. What's on your right, you want to say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And if you're of that nature, you're gonna say it, and a lot of people are not gonna respect that. And that's what I mean. Coming in here, you don't want to strip people of the character.
No.
I mean, you're a cheeky chap, yeah. You wouldn't.
Yeah, when I'm confident.
Yeah, you're
when I'm
confident.
confident. But like you said, that anxiety and the stress, it soon takes it away from you.
Strips that from you, man.
It strips it from you. It's like it's just this dark force
It's crazy, and that's.
that seems to smash it to bits.
But no one would see it because you wouldn't tell anyone in the street. Like you wouldn't just go to them and say, "Oh, I'm anxious today." Like
No,
you
we
say,
don't.
you'd still be the cheeky chappie that they know and have known for years. And
So when you mention that to them, they're like, "Andrew, anxiety? Nah."
fucking always laughing, he's always
Yeah,
this
that's
and
what I mean. He's always
angry.
happy, you know.
Exactly.
It's not that, is it?
On about talking from the heart, because we're going to finish in a bit. So Andy, if you wouldn't mind, will you get your guitar
Yep, I could do that.
and play a little song for us, and I'll
Yeah,
finish
I
us
will,
out today.
I will do that for you. I'm
You
just
go
thinking of a
for
song
that.
to sing, to be honest.
Sing from the heart, bruv.
Just make it up as you go along, I do.
There's a country song that I quite like, and it's by Brett Young. If anyone's ever heard it,
I haven't, if
I'll
I'm
play
honest.
it anyway. I don't wanna talk too much or be too bold, and I don't wanna weigh you down with a heavy load. I've heard you say that you can handle anything, but what I really need to know is, would you wait for me when I gotta leave? Could I ever be everything you need? And if I promised you my love, would that promise be enough? And would you wait for me? I don't need a magic night to make me feel like I'm living in a fairy tale. I know this love is real. I've heard you say that whenever I'm away, my heart is beating all the same. And would you wait for me when I gotta leave? And could I ever be everything you need? And if I promised you my love, would that promise be
brother. That's wonderful. That's going to finish us for today, gang. So, until next week, ta-ra a bit.
Listen.
And that's a wrap for another show. But if there are any comments or messages that you would like us to read out for our next podcast, please be in touch. There are also lots of different organisations at the bottom of this page, and hopefully they can help you or someone you care about. Please share this to spread the word. Until we talk next time, ta-ra a bit.
Listen.